That's what they find some safe to play with, G. What?
No.
Find some safe to play with.
Whoa.
On October 25th, 2025, Birdman didn't just catch an L at that Verzuz, bruh straight up lost the whole plot.
Shout out to Turkey, little bitch, you ain't here, but
One night had the whole internet going crazy, viral moments, public beefs popping off, and 3 whole decades of shady cash money business getting dragged back into the light, and it all jumped off inside ComplexCon, when Verzuz turned explosive. So peep this. What goes down when one of the most plugged-in bosses in the rap game, a dude who done put on some of the biggest names to ever touch a mic, finds himself boxed in, emotionally, in front of everybody and out of nowhere, all in one wild night? What happens when the cameras stay rolling, the whole crowd is watching, and somebody says the wrong thing at the absolute worst time? On October 25th, 2025, the streets found out for real. That night, Cash Money Records and No Limit Records went head-to-head in a crazy anticipated Verzuz battle at ComplexCon out in Vegas, the first Verzuz in over 3 years, fam. And while the whole thing was supposed to be a celebration of 2 legendary Southern hip-hop squads, what popped off afterward became the story that had everybody and they mama talking. Cause right after that Verzuz wrapped, Birdman's own people started leaking footage, wild, uncomfortable, straight up explosive footage that painted a picture of a man who was tweaking, a man who, despite decades of W's, billions in bread, and a whole empire that stretched across generations of artists, looked like he was losing his grip on the whole narrative. Let me run you through everything that went down that night, and more importantly, all the mess that came after. To really understand why what happened next was such a big deal, you gotta first understand the magnitude of what was going down inside ComplexCon that evening. Verzuz, the brainchild of legendary producers Swizz Beatz and Timbaland, got cooked up during the 2020 pandemic as a way for artists and labels to go bar for bar, hit for hit, in what became must-see TV for hip-hop heads across the globe. The setup was simple but deadly effective. 2 sides run their biggest bangers, and the internet decides who took it. For this particular smoke session, the battle was between Cash Money Records, founded by Birdman and his brother Slim back in '91, and No Limit Records, founded by Master P in 1990. Both crews came up out of New Orleans. Both ran the late 90s and early 2000s. Both had their own distinct sounds and ways of moving. Cash Money stayed known for that bounce-influenced production, that flashy drip, and for putting on artists that would define whole eras. Lil Wayne, Juvenile, the Hot Boys. No Limit, on the other hand, built their rep on that military-themed production, them squad tracks, and a deep roster that included Master P himself, Mystical, Silk the Shocker, and at one point even Snoop Dogg. The battle was streamed live on Apple Music, and from the jump, when that first record dropped, it was clear this was finna be a night for the books. Now, on the No Limit side, Master P rolled through with Mia X, Silk the Shocker, Mystical, Choppa, and in what became the most talked about moment of the whole night, a surprise pull-up from Snoop Dogg, who, if y'all remember, was signed to No Limit from '98 to 2001. Mia X, in particular, absolutely bodied that stage with her performances, earning mad love from fans and celebs alike. And then there was Snoop, closing out the No Limit set with Down For My, featuring C Murder and Magic. Snoop reminded everybody that his No Limit run was one of the most successful stretches of his legendary career. The crowd went absolutely stupid. On the Cash Money side, Birdman pulled up with BG, Manny Fresh, Juvenile, and what was supposed to be a partial Hot Boys reunion, though Lil Wayne and Turk were notably MIA. They ran the classics, Get Your Shine On, Project Big, Juvenile's iconic Back That Ass Up, and even Lil Wayne's Go DJ, though Wayne himself wasn't there to rock it. The whole event was described by fans as messy and all over the place, with confusion over who was going when, and technical problems throughout. Despite the nostalgia and some real moments of love, BG at one point hollered, "I love you Mia" to Mia X from across the stage. The consensus on social media was mad clear. No Limit had cooked, and that's when the night took a whole different turn. Birdman was visibly heated the whole evening, and as the Verzuz wrapped up, he grabbed the mic and went on a rant that instantly had the whole internet bugging.
Cash Money ain't gonna never die. As long as I'm alive, hold on, Fresh, wait, Fresh. Long as I'm alive, Cash Money ain't gonna never die. Shout out to my NBA young boy, NBA Rich Gang. Who don't like it? We with all the bullshit. If you ain't with us,
It wasn't just the general energy that caught people's attention, it was what he said about Turk. Birdman went on to call out Hot Boy Turk, who was absent from the event. The diss was on site, it was personal as hell, and it got broadcasted to millions. Turk, for his part, clapped back almost immediately on socials, escalating their long-running beef. But what happened next, immediately after the Versus ended, became the footage that truly went viral. Now, it's worth noting the broader context here. This wasn't just any night for Birdman. This was supposed to be a triumphant return to the spotlight, a reminder to the hip-hop world that Cash Money Records, despite all the controversies, despite all the lawsuits, despite all the artists who had left and returned and left again, was still standing, still relevant, still a force to be reckoned with. And yet, here he was, watching as No Limit seemingly dominated the crowd, watching as Snoop Dogg brought the house down with records that weren't even made under the Cash Money umbrella, watching as the absence of Lil Wayne and Turk was noted again and again on social media. For a man who has built his entire persona around winning, around dominance, around being the ultimate boss, this was not the night he had envisioned, and the frustration was palpable. You see, Birdman wasn't done for the night. Agitated from the battle and clearly feeling some type of way about the public perception that Cash Money had lost to No Limit, he made his way outside the venue, where he encountered Kenny Brooks. Now, Kenny Brooks, better known as the Funny Salesman, is a Detroit-based comedian who has gone massively viral for his over-the-top, hilarious door-to-door sales pitches. Whether he's selling cleaning products or offering shoe shining services, Brooks has built a reputation as one of the internet's most beloved comedic personalities. Everyone loves Kenny. Brooks approached Birdman for what he thought would be a spontaneous, friendly interaction, maybe even a quick skit. He greeted Birdman positively and complimented him, saying something along the lines of, "I got the best thing since cake and ice cream."
I got the best thing since cake and ice cream. It's real.
And that's when everything went sideways. Birdman interpreted the comment as disrespect, possibly linking the phrase ice cream to Master P's famous nickname, Ice Cream Man, from his legendary 1996 album of the same name. Whether intentional or not, Birdman took it as a jab, especially coming right after the Versus. He snapped. Birdman told Brooks to find something safe to play with, and then went on to claim that he had started trends like diamonds and teeth and face tattoos.
That's what they want. Find something safe to play with, please. What?
No.
Find something safe to play with.
Whoa.
Yeah, can I get a...
The confrontation was captured on video and went viral almost instantly. In January 2026, Brooks finally broke down the incident in a video, explaining that his comment was completely unintentional. "I unintentionally said something to make Birdman upset." He clarified that the cake and ice cream line was meant as a compliment, not shade. But this incident, as entertaining and meme-worthy as it was just the beginning. Because what came next, what Birdman's affiliates shared in the weeks that followed, painted a far more disturbing picture. The shadow over Young Money, decades of accusations. The Versus incident and the confrontation with Kenny Brooks might have been written off as a bad night, a mogul having a moment under the pressure of public scrutiny. But for those who have been paying attention to Birdman's career over the past 3 decades, the events of that October evening were simply the latest chapter in a much longer, much darker story. Because Birdman's reputation, as impressive as his successes have been, has always been shadowed by controversy. And in December 2025, when affiliates began sharing footage of him, footage that many described as chilling, the internet was forced to reckon with a question that has haunted hip-hop for decades: who is the real Birdman? In mid-December 2025, a clip surfaced on social media showing what appeared to be a tense, emotionally charged interaction between Birdman and NBA YoungBoy. The footage was short, decontextualized, and offered no clear explanation for what was happening. But the reaction was immediate and visceral. Fans and online commentators interpreted the clip as coercive, emotionally aggressive, and indicative of what many called a dark power struggle within the music industry. Comment sections became battlegrounds, with users debating whether the footage exposed long-suspected dynamics in Birdman's mentorship style, or whether it was simply a misreading fueled by years of accumulated hate. To understand why this clip struck such a nerve, you have to understand the history between Birdman and the artist he's guided over the years, starting with his most famous protege, Lil Wayne. Born Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., was signed to Cash Money Records at the age of 12 in 1995. He was part of the Hot Boys, alongside Juvenile, BG, and Turk. He would go on to become the label's flagship artist, releasing blockbuster albums like the Thaw Carter series, and founding Young Money Entertainment as a subsidiary imprint under Cash Money in 2005. For years, Birdman and Lil Wayne presented themselves as family. Birdman referred to Wayne as his son. Wayne called Birdman Daddy. There were photos of them kissing on the lips, images that Birdman later addressed in 2021, calling it a mafia greeting and denying any impropriety. But in December 2014, the relationship shattered publicly. Wayne took to Twitter, calling himself a prisoner of Cash Money and accusing Birdman of delaying his album Thaw Carter 5. He claimed Birdman owed him an $8 million advance for the album and had violated their joint venture agreement. In January 2015, Wayne filed a lawsuit seeking $51 million and his release from the label. He accused Birdman of diverting $70 million from a Universal advance, using it for personal expenses rather than artist development. The legal battle dragged on for years. In July 2015, Wayne's tour bus was shot at 12 times in Atlanta. While no one was injured, investigations linked the incident to affiliates of Young Thug and Birdman. Jimmy Carlton Winfrey, a tour manager for Young Thug, was later arrested and convicted for the shooting, with phone records showing calls to Birdman before and after. Birdman denied any involvement.
Well, back in 2015, Lil Wayne sued Birdman and Cash Money for $51 million. He was trying to get out of his contract as well. He also sued Universal Music for $40 million, saying he was owed royalties for Young Money artists.
In June 2018, Wayne settled with Cash Money for a reported $10 million, significantly less than the $51 million sought, gaining his freedom from the label and full ownership of Young Money. Thaw Carter 5 was finally released that September, debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200. But here's the thing, Lil Wayne wasn't the first artist to make these accusations against Birdman, and he certainly wasn't the last. Juvenile, one of the original Hot Boys, and the man behind the iconic Back That Ass Up, left Cash Money in 2001 amid accusations that he was owed millions from his quadruple platinum album 400 Degrees. In 2003, he sued the label for $30 million in unpaid royalties.
Do you ever wish that you guys didn't break up and stayed a unit, or you just weren't getting paid from them? They weren't cutting the checks?
That's what it was, man. You know, I wanted to stay. You know, you never want to leave a winning team. You know, that's just like Jordan leaving the Bulls. You know, and I just felt like I need to be compensated for. I'm working hard. I just want to get paid for it.
Although he didn't want to leave, Birdman's conduct forced him out.
Was it a bad contract, or they just wasn't paying nobody?
Yeah, it was a bad contract. It was a bad contract, and it was just other things going on outside of that where I felt like I needed to get paid for, like shows, a lot of things.
Mannie Fresh, the legendary producer who crafted nearly every Cash Money hit from Ha to Still Fly, left in 2005 amid financial disputes. He demanded unpaid royalties, claiming Birdman owed him millions for producing nearly all of the label's early albums. BG, whose 1999 hit, Bling Bling, literally added the term to the dictionary, left Cash Money in 2002 with similar grievances. In 2025, after serving 11 years in federal prison on gun charges, BG accused Birdman of grimy behavior, including a lack of support during his incarceration. And then there's Turk, who in 2015 filed a $1.3 million lawsuit against Cash Money, alleging unpaid royalties from his Hot Boys contributions and solo album. The pattern was undeniable. Artist after artist, lawsuit after lawsuit, the same accusations kept emerging: unpaid royalties, predatory contracts, financial mismanagement. And here's what makes all of this even more troubling. These weren't just random artists making accusations. These were the founding members of one of the most successful hip-hop labels in history. These were artists who had been there from the beginning, who had helped build Cash Money from a regional New Orleans operation into a national powerhouse. Juvenile's Back That Ass Up remains one of the most recognizable songs of the late 1990s. BG's Bling Bling literally added a word to the dictionary. The term was officially added to the Oxford English Dictionary in 2003. Mannie Fresh produced nearly every hit that put Cash Money on the map. Turk was a founding member of the Hot Boys, one of the most influential Southern rap groups of all time. These weren't failed artists looking for someone to blame. These were successful artists who felt they had been cheated out of their fair share. Now, to be fair, Birdman has addressed these accusations over the years. In multiple interviews, he has defended his business practices, often pointing to the success of his artists as evidence that Cash Money delivered on its promises.
When Universal gave me a bag, brother, I can honestly say I gave Wayne about $400 to $500 million. Drake got about $500 million, and Nicki got about $300-400 million out my pocket. No cap. You don't believe me? Ask.
And there's something to be said for that perspective. Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki Minaj became some of the biggest artists in the world under the Cash Money, Young Money umbrella. The label's influence on hip-hop is undeniable. But as DJ Academics noted in a 2025 interview, Birdman's approach has always been what he called run and gun, prioritizing instinct over paper.
That's another reason why Birdman is a GOAT. Yeah, you know, again, if and we got to acknowledge this, right? It's the reasons why we've criticized them, or the culture's criticized them, that makes him the GOAT, right? Because I don't know if people remember the story, the whole thing about him and Wayne with the money, like, he was on some run and gun shit. Like, if you watch the documentary, he explains it, right? He was like, yo, listen, we didn't really know to do like financials and shit. So we was just like, we was thugging it. We was just trying to get it.
That run and gun mentality may have built an empire, but it also left a trail of lawsuits, broken relationships, and artists who felt they were owed far more than they ever received. And now, there is speculation that history could be repeating itself, this time with NBA YoungBoy. The next generation, YoungBoy and the future. And this brings us to the most troubling chapter in the Birdman story, his relationship with NBA YoungBoy. Because if the viral December 2025 clip represents anything, it represents the question that has haunted Birdman's entire career. Is he a mentor who genuinely wants to see young artists succeed, or is he something else entirely? NBA YoungBoy, born Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden in 1999, rose to fame in the mid-2010s with raw, emotional trap music that resonated with millions. Growing up in Baton Rouge in poverty, facing early incarcerations, and dealing with personal trauma, YoungBoy's life story was tailor-made for the kind of mentorship that Birdman has always claimed to offer. According to Birdman himself, Atlantic Records essentially gave YoungBoy to him during one of the young rapper's stints in jail. The label, unsure how to handle YoungBoy's career amid his legal issues, turned to Birdman for guidance. By 2017-2018, their bond became more visible. Birdman featured on YoungBoy's track We Poppin' from the mixtape AI YoungBoy, and the two were seen collaborating in studios and at events. Birdman praised YoungBoy's work ethic and talent in interviews, calling him one of the realest in the game. In 2021, Birdman reportedly offered to pay YoungBoy's $500,000 bond during a federal gun charge case. The gesture underscored his financial and emotional investment in the young artist. But just like with Lil Wayne, just like with Juvenile, just like with all the others, the relationship eventually soured. In June 2024, NBA YoungBoy released Tears of War, a diss track that directly accused Birdman of betrayal. The lyrics were devastating. Knew Stunna never loved me, shoulda listened to Carter. Stunna is Birdman's nickname. Carter refers to Lil Wayne, whose real name is Dwayne Carter. The implication was clear. Wayne had warned YoungBoy about Birdman's intentions, and YoungBoy hadn't listened. Now think about the weight of that for a moment. Here was one of the most popular young rappers in the world, an artist who had amassed billions of streams, who had a dedicated fan base that rivals any artist in hip-hop, publicly accusing his mentor of the same things that Lil Wayne had accused him of years earlier. History wasn't just repeating itself, it was playing out almost identically, and the timing of the track made it even more significant. Song was recorded before YoungBoy's April 2024 arrest on prescription fraud charges, at a moment when YoungBoy was already feeling isolated and vulnerable. He was under house arrest in Utah. He was facing federal charges, and according to his lyrics, the man who had promised to protect him, the man who had positioned himself as a father figure, had abandoned him when he needed him most. Videos emerged online claiming Birdman stole everything from YoungBoy, alleging exploitative deals where Birdman profited disproportionately from YoungBoy's streams and tours. Insider reports suggested Birdman's influence was worse than we thought, with claims of manipulation during YoungBoy's vulnerable periods. But then, something unexpected happened. By August 2025, Birdman and YoungBoy appeared to reconcile. According to DJ Academics, who witnessed the moment firsthand, Birdman walked into what could have been a violent backstage altercation at one of YoungBoy's shows in New Orleans and de-escalated the entire situation with nothing but his presence.